Yep.
Okay.
Lines, that means for us to turn it. Okay. How do you know who last or how
Okay. Here? Okay. And then when you're done talking?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Councilor McGrath, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. I can hear you.
Awesome, thank you.
Everything's good? So I'll call today's meeting to order. I humbly acknowledge that the land which we live, learn, work, and play is treaty territory, traditional lands of Cree and Dene, and unceded territory of the Métis. And for the record, we have Councilor McGrath participating via Teams. And councilors, you can have your cameras on, so for voting purposes, we can see your hand raised. Because today's special meeting is under the MGA, and adoption of agenda is not required, our first order of business will be to approve the items on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, can I have someone make that motion?
I can do it.
Councilor Ball.
I move that the recommendations contained in items 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4 be approved.
And can I have someone second that? Councilor Banjoko.
I second that motion, Mr.
And I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Show of hands. And that is moved unanimously. We'll now move on to a public hearing for amendment to the Conklin structure plan. Before declaring the public hearing open, I'm going to give a quick overview of the process. I'll declare the public hearing open, followed by an introduction of the item by administration. Following that, we'll hear opening statements from the applicant. Then we'll move on into written statements and speakers. To conclude, we will be hearing closing statements. Then the hearing will be declared closed. I hereby declare the public hearing open. A public hearing is a legislative process, and in making a decision on a proposed recommendation, council can only consider information received through the hearing. As a reminder for council members, in an effort to be respectful of the public hearing process, it is important that everyone participate for the duration of the hearing. Should you need to leave during the public hearing, we can call for a point of privilege and take a brief recess. And I'd like to invite Amanda Heides, Acting Director of Planning and Development, to provide an introduction and opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Bowman and members of council. My name is Amanda Heides, Senior Manager of Planning and Development, and I'm here to present an amendment to the Conklin Area Structure Plan. This amendment would reduce minimum lot size requirements on 5 lots owned by Conklin Resource Development Advisory Committee, CRDAC. These lots are identified in Schedule A of your report and include 130 Father Mercade's Trail, 103, 159, 175, and 178 Pine Lane. CRDAC plans to subdivide these lots into 46 smaller residential properties to provide a supply of affordable housing in the community. Administration is working closely with CRDAC on their first subdivision, but it cannot be finalized without the ASP being amended this evening. Presently, the ASP requires lots in Conklin to be a minimum of 0.4 hectares or about 1 acre, and if approved, this amendment would exempt the 5 properties from the lot size requirements depending on available servicing capacity. With new infrastructure recently put in place through the Rural Water and Sewer Servicing Program, and an opportunity exists for CRDAC's first subdivision to take advantage of it. The land use bylaw already supports smaller lot sizes in Conklin on land zoned hamlet residential if water and sewer infrastructure is in place. So if the ASP amendment is approved this evening, both of these key regulatory documents would support CRDAC's vision. Administration will continue to work with CRDAC and their consultants on the proposed subdivision, and it is through this part of the development process that any specific infrastructure needs will be addressed. The proposed ASP amendment before you is essentially laying the foundation for subsequent steps to occur in the development process. This amendment is supported by the Municipal Development Plan and other sections of the Conklin Area Structure Plan, both of which speak specifically to increasing the supply of affordable housing in the community. Given the support for this locally driven application, its alignment with key priorities such as housing affordability and available of municipal servicing to support new lots, administration supports the proposed amendment this evening. I would like to thank Jeffrey O'Donnell and the CRDAC, as well as their consultants at Associated Engineering, for the work on behalf of the community. Thank you, and this is the conclusion of my presentation.
Thank you, Amanda. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any. So thank you for your presentation, Amanda. Oh, sorry, Councillor Dogar?
Through the chair, sir, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. First of all, I thank Mayor and Council and all staff that providing me the opportunity to meet this great community. I was in Edmonton, I had to rush it, so that I meet and greet everybody. Surely, I worked in this area about 10 years back in construction of 881, and I see a lot of improvement in the neighborhood. About this motion, certainly I had discussion with Councillor Stroud. She was very kind to give me a time yesterday when she was at her home in her own private time. I'm convinced what is going on, but certainly a question raising in my mind, and that I ask you, that certain big lots, they add to the landscaping and beautification of the area. Is it not more land available for the need which has arisen as per the requirement? So the bigger lots is a good landscaping also, beautification also. Can't we release some more land for these houses which we have planned now?
Through the chair to Councillor Dogar, very good question, and one that we have also wrestled with or seen come up in other communities as well. There are some serious costs associated with new development, and what we have in front, or what CRDAC has in front of them here, are previously developed lots that have already been created. They've already have a lot of road infrastructure necessary to access them, and simply they're just seeking to subdivide those and make better use of the land that we already have existing, which is in itself good planning practice to make the best use of what we already have.
Thank you very much. Good presentation and a good reply. I am fully satisfied, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Dogar, and thank you. We'll now invite Bill and Owen with Associated Engineering to make opening comments on behalf of the applicant. As a reminder, the applicant, you have permitted to speak 5 minutes for presentation. There it is.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for allowing me to briefly comment on the proposed ASP amendment. Firstly, we would like to thank the RM administration for their ongoing support for this amendment. Their support and council's potential approval of the proposed amendment is key to our ability to proceed with the subdivision application and the construction of the first phase of homes later this year. From our perspective, the ASP amendment enables the CRDAC to plan for and offer compact and full-service residential lots that balance the need to provide suitable property area for residents to use and enjoy while minimizing linear servicing costs. Providing support for potential subdivision of more compact lots relative to some of the larger acreage style lots in the vicinity is essential in maintaining affordability and ensuring that as much of the project financing can be directed towards expanding the inventory of housing in Conklin rather than installing expensive underground utilities needed to support more sparse forms of development. The amendment enables the RM to consider affordable housing development within the 5 CRDAC-owned sites, which is consistent with the existing direction portrayed in your MDP and ASP, which identifies small lot development as one of the ways for providing more affordable housing. With that, I would just like to thank you for your support of this request, and myself and Owen Murky are here to answer any questions that might arise. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Bill. Do we have any questions from council? And I'm not seeing any, so thank you very much for the presentation, Bill. Do we have any written submissions?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman, confirming on the record that we've received no written submissions.
Okay, thank you. And verbal submissions?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. We have 2 registered verbal submissions. Our first will begin with Jeffrey O'Donnell with Conklin Resource Development Advisory Committee.
Okay, so let's begin with Jeffrey O'Donnell. And for the record, if you could please state your name. And as a reminder, you have 5 minutes to make your presentation, followed by questions. So thank you.
Jeffrey O'Donnell, CEO for the Conklin Resource Development Advisory Committee. Next is the CRDAC Elder, Yvonne McCullum. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors, for coming down to Conklin. Pretty sure we absolutely appreciate you being here. We definitely won't take the full 5 minutes. We're just here to let you know that we also support this addition to create more housing in Conklin, and our consultants really kind of nailed down the specifics of that. So with that, if there's any questions, we'd be more than happy to take them.
All right, thank you, Jeffrey and Yvonne. Do we have any questions from council? Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I just want to thank you for bringing this forward to council.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from council? I have a quick question. It's just related to affordable housing. Jeffrey, if you can answer that. Whenever we talk about affordable housing, we always have some process of applicants. What's the application process you're going to be using for the 46 units that you're going to be putting in here?
Can I just call Peter Fortner to answer that question, please?
Absolutely, thanks.
Just do it.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, can everyone hear me? Okay. Well, thanks for the question, Mayor. So the reason I got brought up was I'm chairing the Conklin Housing Advisory Committee. So we've been working for the last 12 months to develop that application process. It started with the Wood Buffalo Housing application, and it's been adapted so it meets community needs. And it's going to be basically those most in need are going to get access to the first housing, and then so on and so forth. And we've been able to secure funding through some other sources and stuff too to keep our rent costs extremely low. So we think it's challenging in that this is going to be new, so it will be adaptive, and we'll have to adapt it to meet the community's needs. But that was the biggest thing, I think, was to make sure that the community was involved. And just briefly, the committee itself is made up with a mix of members, some who are currently homeless, some who are of various demographics, and so they're providing input into all the various phases as they get developed out.
Perfect, appreciate that. And I think starting with the most needy first is probably the best way you can approach it, so good luck with that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming here to Conklin to come and address the issue on hand. And it's just lovely that we're doing this, because we're going to have all this affordable housing. We have a lot of homeless, and so we have generations living in the same households. And I don't know, all communities, especially Aboriginal communities, have problems. The social problems that we have here can't not be stifled much longer, so maybe we're going to need help in that avenue as well, not just housing, but other stuff. So it's just blowing to big proportions of social problems, and the drugs are coming in. Just wanted to say that we really need to move this housing forward and get people where they should be. Thanks.
Perfect. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you for that. And thank you for the presentation. Very much appreciated. So I don't know if any other questions from council? I'm not seeing any, so thank you.
I just wanted to mention before we leave that it's been a pleasure to work with your planning and development department, and we going to continue to work with them. So thank you very much for your time today.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak from the audience on this subject?
Mayor Bowman, we did have one other registered speaker, Ernest Quintel. If you're in the audience and speaking for the public hearing, you may come forward when you're ready to make your submission. Thanks.
Ernest?
My name's Ernest Quintel. Thank you. I have the issue to talk about with you guys while you're here. Thanks for letting me speak. Okay, where do I start? My question is, why is it subdividing these lots into 1 acres? And I have to ask you, why are you placing these acres where you want to? Where the people don't even want to go stay. They don't even want to stay by each other, 20 feet apart, houses over here. All you got is fights there, family clans fighting, smashing those houses after. And you want to take all this and put them where? Half of these people you displace are on the streets of McMurray and Lac La Biche. There's all kinds of land, there's all kinds of houses here. Keep them here as a community. You're busting up the community. Like who said, we started out with land tenure, then ID Nord, then land tenure, then municipality took over. Who owns us lately? And what can we do with the property that we already own? Now you guys can tell us what to do now? You already brought industry in here to do that. We're promised jobs. Maybe there's 2 people in this whole community that are qualified to work in all these 50 plants around here. They don't want us. I went to college. I went to grade 12. I went to college just to keep up with the pace here. It seems to me the color of my skin is not wanted in these big companies. BP Energy, Devon, Synovus, Pan-Canadian, Syncrude. I worked for Syncrude and Suncor. They said, we don't need you here. We just hired you for your looks. And I thought I was a good-looking man. It was because I'm a native. Now, where are you going to place us? You're going to take this land and subdivide it for who? All these people that are displaced and homeless, there's empty houses all around here. How come you guys don't give those to them? It just seems that these houses are too good for the community of Conklin people, but yet you put anything you want in our community and say you guys are not good enough to live in those places because this is your community now. It used to be ours, and we used to be able to do what we want. We could build a house anywhere we wanted, and the community people would help that person. So he has a roof over his head. But as it is now, we come around and ask. I go around asking. I got to find my own right to go to my doctor now. Where's our bus service? Where's our Wood Buffalo service? We give you guys the authority to take care of us. What do we get? Nothing. Nothing so far. Whereas that just do it on your own. Why do we have leaders like you looking? You guys don't even look out. You forgot about us. We're too far in the bush or what? In the meantime, all our mineral and resources are going to McMurray because we're such a small population, you just get a little bit. The rest goes to whoever over there. And Jane Stroud, you know that too. You've been on the office for years and years. You know our struggle. How come you're not addressing our issues? Look at me, I'm on crutches now. I'll be on a wheelchair pretty soon. Who's going to help me? Nobody. There's no services in Conklin for people like me. I'm not an old-timer, but you know what? For what this industry did to my health, I'm an old-timer already. Too fast to think of. I didn't ask to be old and cripple up like this, but I worked industry all my life. I tried my best, and this is what I get. When it comes down for me asking for things, everybody turns their back. Ask somebody else, phone McMurray, and I just get bounced around, to hell with it. Next time, I'll be hitchhiking down the road on my crutches for my next appointment. How come we don't get the right things here? Why are we just pushed further back in the bush here? Come on, you guys represent us. As a Wood Buffalo, If I go to the Prime Minister and tell him these guys are this, oh, they're just eating, their fingers are all finger looking good with greasy food, and those guys are starving. And we ask for issues. Can you address our issues? Somehow, somebody got an ear up there. Listen, man, we need help here. You guys don't even know it. I'm glad that you guys take the time to come. You guys are probably paid lots of money to come listen to us, but you're probably going to go back and say, ah, the hell with them. You're just talking for nothing. I'll keep on talking for nothing forever and ever and ever until I get the right ear to do something about my problems, because my problems are everybody's problems. I'm the only one that will come out and say something about it.
So,
So come on, you guys. Help us out here.
Okay,
We're a small community. And we like to be proud of who we are.
That's 5 minutes, but the issues you address, I'm going to turn to council for any questions, but any issues that you have that aren't related to the...
You're going to have to pardon me, sir. I didn't bring my hearing aids, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Can you turn off your mic there? If you turn off the mic, press the mic button, your microphone turn into a speaker.
Oh, I don't know.
There, Heather can get it. There you go. So your mic will now be a speaker for you. So can you hear me now? Yeah, okay? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so in relation to the bylaw change, we can ask questions about that right now from council, but any other issues, we can definitely sit down and go over the issues you're having, and I can get back to you definitely on that stuff. As we spoke before the meeting, with some things you brought up that we can look at. But as far as what you brought up today about the affordable housing here, does any councillors have any questions? And I'm not seeing any questions from councillors. Councillor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, sorry, Ernest. Sorry, Ernest, just 1 second. Councillor Benjoko just has a question for you.
Oh, no, maybe not for him. I just wanted to know how we are really going to keep the houses affordable to the residents, and if no, okay, thank you. Oh no, not. I think my question won't be answered today, but it wasn't for you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
For today. But thanks, Ernest. Thanks for your comments. Definitely keep that in mind. So, Peter. So, Councillor Benjoko, if I could invite Peter back up, maybe we can answer that question from Councillor Benjoko. Hit the mic button, Peter.
It's the person, like the face.
No. There you go.
Oh, perfect. Sorry about that. So the question was, what processes we're using to ensure the houses are affordable for residents here in Conklin?
Yes, thank you. I actually got asked a similar question, though, for Fort McMurray apartments. I had some complaints about not getting the affordable houses. So that's why I'm thinking, how are we going to ensure, or what percentage of these apartments will be subsidized and affordable for the people that the apartments are intended for?
Sure. So I'm not sure, it's not really my place to speak on Wood Buffalo Housing, but that's one of the challenges. They get funding directly through the provincial government directly, and so that requires them to charge a certain amount of rent and only provide a certain amount of social housing, which, you know, when that list gets to a certain point, they can't provide any more, and that causes the problems for the Fort McMurray apartments that you're speaking with. One advantage we have is our hands aren't bound in the same way. We're not getting those similar types of subsidies that the Wood Buffalo Housing is getting. So we're we have control over what we can charge, and we can make sure that the cost is affordable for people of Conklin, because we've had the same problems. I'm sure you drove around the Wood Buffalo housing units that are here, and for similar reasons, you know, they're bound by the same costing, Wood Buffalo housing, so we've always had challenges getting people into those houses and keeping them affordable. So, and in terms of keeping the cost low, what we're doing is the whole unit with funding from both the CRDAC, from, you know, the land grants we were able to get from the RMWB and through some other sources, Synovus primarily, we were able to keep the like we don't have to get a mortgage or anything, so the overhead costs are relatively low. So really all we have to do is keep sort of operating costs as well as ongoing management costs. So that's the primary way we're going to keep the cost low. A secondary way is we're going to be encouraging residents to have sweat equity options. So, you know, if they cut their own grass, do these things, you know, they can drop their rent down lower again. So those are going to be the primary two ways, I would say, that we're keeping costs low. Anything you want to add to that, Jeffrey?
No, I think Peter eloquently hit it, that, you know, do appreciate the service that Wood Buffalo Housing provides, but it was preventative for some of our members, and so that's why we're creating our own too, so it kind of gloves and dovetails the needs of Conklin, because the needs in Conklin aren't necessarily the same needs in Janvier or Anzac, and everyone's a little bit different. So we're kind of trying to make it particular to the needs of Conklin.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey and Peter. The next speaker is Valerie Quintel. So Valerie, if you could please state your name for the record, and as a reminder, you have 5 minutes, and then just please remain for questions. And press the microphone button. Go.
Okay. Hi, my name is Valerie Quintel. I just want to thank you, Mayor and Council, for coming to our community. This means a great deal to us. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say, unless there's any questions.
Oh, we appreciate, oh, that's loud.
Okay.
And we appreciate everything, the hospitality since we've been here, so thank you, Valerie, and everyone in the community. We had a good day today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Mayor Bowman, and I just want to thank everyone who came out today from the community of Conklin to support us in this council meeting. Thank you.
Councillor Dogar.
Through the chair, thank you very much, sir, for giving me the chance. I thank everybody who are present here, took the opportunity to meet, and we are more wise on the Conklin affairs. Today is 27th, and we are approaching towards Canada Day. I hope I extend my gratitude to everybody for Happy Canada Day. Extend it to your children. Particularly, I advise immigrants to celebrate this day with lot of enthusiasm and spirit. These spirits inculcate nationalism, which is of paramount importance. Thank you very much, sir.
And are there any further questions of council pertaining to the bylaw? And as a reminder, once the hearing is closed, no further questions or information gathering can occur. Does the administration have anything following further to add or closing comments? No. Do the applicants have anything further to add? I'll now declare the hearing closed. Coming out of the public hearing, we now have second and third readings of the bylaw, number 22/008 for council consideration. Can I have someone make the motion for the second reading of the bylaw number 22/008? Councillor Grandison.
There, now it's working. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 22-008 being an amendment to the Conklin Area Structure Plan bylaw number 13/024 to allow for lot sizes less than 0.4 hectares, I assume, on the following hamlet residential parcels. Lot 3, Block 3, Plan 0326085, civic address 103 Pine Lane. Lot 156, Block 1, Plan 1021643, civic address 159 Pine Lane. Lot 42, Plan 8321550, civic address 130 Father Mercury Trail. Lot 119, Plan 8321550, civic address 175 Pine Lane. Lot 134, Plan 8321550, civic address 178 Pine Lane, be read a second time.
Thank you, Councillor Granison. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Ball.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Now, are there any other comments, debate from council prior to moving forward? Now I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. We'll now call for a third reading of the bylaw. Can someone make the motion for third reading? Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I move that bylaw number 22/008 be read a third and final time. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Dogar.
I second the motion.
Are there any comments or for debate for council? Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I just have some comments. I definitely support the smaller residential lots in Conklin, with the potential of increasing interest rates in Canada to buy homes. I believe the smaller lots will be much more sustainable for the residents of Conklin. Thank you for bringing this forward to council, and I also want to thank Synovus for supporting the housing ventures of CRDAC. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stroud. Does anyone have any other questions relating to the bylaw? Councillor Dogar?
Sorry, it was just by chance.
Okay, thank you. I'll call for a vote. All in favor? And any opposed? Not seeing any. That's carried unanimously. Moving on, new business. We have the 2022 Public Art Work Plan. I'd like to invite Deanna Berge, Director, Community and Protective Services, and Sharon Heading, Chair of the Public Art Committee, to introduce the report.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Deanna Berge. I'm the Director of Community and Protective Services. With me today is Sharon Heading, the Chair of the Public Art Committee. We are presenting the 2021 highlights from the Public Art Wood Buffalo program and the 2022 work plan. A highlight of the 2021 and an exciting milestone for the Public Art program was the adoption of the 10-year Wood Buffalo Public Art Plan. The Public Art Plan provides a comprehensive framework for the Public Art program for the next 5 to 10 years. The mandate of the Public Art Wood Buffalo program is to strengthen community identity and sense of place through creation and development of public art in the region. The plan identifies a focus on these program areas: acquisition, artists and community, temporary art, public sites, private sites, and conservation. The public art plan strategies aim to build and achieve the desired outcomes that include a robust public art ecosystem, sustainable structures and supports, connected community, visible Indigenous presence, and vibrant public realm. The annual work plan outlines public art projects and programs that will be initiated. The work plan is developed collaboratively by the Culture and Social Development Branch, an interdepartmental public art working group, and the Public Art Committee. The work plan identifies projects and proposed budgets which will be funded through the Public Art Reserve. The public art program is modeled from a percent for art concept that builds a reserve for the initiation and implementation of public art. 0.5% is calculated from approved capital projects. This policy has been in place since 2015.
The Public Art Committee reviewed and passed a motion to support the 2022 Annual Public Art Work Plan at a special meeting held on June 20th, 2022.
The acquisition program will acquire works of art that enrich communities, support local artists, and form a visual history of the region for the use and enjoyment of the people of Wood Buffalo.
In 2021, we were proud to acquire Winter Solstice, The Longest Hunt, by local artist Amy Keller-Remp. This piece is scheduled to be permanently installed near Doug Barnes' cabin in the Birchwood Trails in early fall.
A carryover of funds approved as part of the 2021 work plan will be used to initiate an artist call for artworks for the Jubilee Building main floor.
In 2022, the focus of the upcoming year is to develop the collection management process, document the current collection, and develop a maintenance and long-term conservation plan.
Allocation transfer to support the acquisition program, specifically collection management, is $10,000.
The Artist and Community Program will provide opportunities for local artists and community to co-create projects with shared goals, themes, and ideas. This program is aimed at supporting small-scale projects involving a collaborative approach between artists and participating members of the community. Program development will be undertaken in 2022 with a pilot launch in 2023 and will include a series of workshops that support local artists and community through the application process. Additionally, workshops will focus on skill development and how to create meaningful public art in society today.
The allocation transfer for the Artists and Community Program is $70,000.
Temporary works of public art completed by an artist created for a specific event or place for a specific occasion and time frame. These works are not considered part of the permanent public art collection. Programs include the annual Street Banner Program, Graphic Wrap Program, murals, and the public art exhibitions like Ignite.
Public Art Wood Buffalo seeks to build capacity of local mural artists in a mentorship-style program. The program will also reinvest into the local arts community by leasing artworks for the gallery wall and display case on the main floor of the Jubilee Building. The allocation request for the temporary art program is $82,000. In 2021, we had 2 artist calls for temporary art. There were 94 submissions and 23 artists and creatives profiled, 19 of which were local.
The 6th Ignite exhibition ran October 1st to 10th at Lions Park, Heritage Village. 5 exhibits were featured that represented the theme of the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables. The exhibit featured 5 artworks interpreting the theme, which included 2 local artists and partnership with community organizations and businesses. There were over 3,000 visitors, including 1 curious bear and an incredibly determined beaver. A new feature of Ignite included virtual artist spotlight sessions, which featured capacity building information sessions or creative activities by the Ignite artists.
The annual street banner program received 84 submissions, which included 13 submissions from rural areas. 14 designs were selected from entries across the region. These designs decorate over 300 banners and can be found in the communities throughout Wood Buffalo. Interesting notes on this program are that 69% of the entries are youth under 18 years of age, and 4 of the selected designs were entries received from rural communities.
Partnership with Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism to deliver a region-wide pop-up photography tour capturing the everyday life of people who live in this region. Award-winning local photographer Crystal Mercady and multidisciplinary artist Lucas Seward hosted 19 pop-up sessions across 10 communities with almost 700 registered participants. Local illustrator and designer Sidef Uzair Prakash has been commissioned to create the Cayenne Park mural using selected images from the tour, installation anticipated in summer of 2022.
The Public Sites program supports the creation of permanent public art for the public realm in new and renewed facilities, parks, developments, and other infrastructure. Waterfront and downtown redevelopment are 2 projects that are underway. The Public Art Wood Buffalo program will explore opportunities to link these projects together and celebrate the Indigenous narrative. The Public Art Bench program will continue into 2022 with an additional art call for 2 more sister benches. Allocation request for the Public Sites program is $371,000.
Reconciliation artworks for council chambers were unveiled on April 25th, 2022. 3 artworks by Frederick R. MacDonald, inspired by the Circle of Knowledge and Artistic Expression, were commissioned for council chambers, inspired through Indigenous Sharing Circle of Elders and Knowledge Keepers. The Talking Stick was an additional piece of artwork created by Elder Shirley Arthurs to honor the Sharing Circle and Indigenous process of gathering, providing input, and achieving consensus. Public Art Wood Buffalo is honored to work with Jessica Croucher, our Indigenous curator. She is a Cree Dene and member of McMurray 468 First Nation who has a deep ancestral connection to Nistawayo. In her role as curator for Public Art Wood Buffalo, she will focus on creating public art opportunities along the waterfront that share the Indigenous narrative and build connection to this land. She will explore the decolonization of typical public art procurement processes and offer processes that are in harmony with Indigenous practice. 2021 introduced the pilot bench program where artists were commissioned to create a bench inspired by a rural community and develop a sister bench to be placed in Fort McMurray. This program aims to strengthen the visual connection of our communities. Benches are currently being created by local artists Christian Nuwakin and Amy Keller-Remp, who are working with the communities of Anzac and Sapray Creek. Installation is expected to occur in fall of 2022.
We are requesting that $533,000 be transferred from the Public Art Reserve for the 2022 Public Art Work Plan. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanne and Sharon. Do we have any questions from council? Do we have any delegates for this item? Or sorry, Councillor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. So to the presenter, Deanne, you said there was 4 of the designs were from rural residents, and what was that for?
Through the chair to Councillor Stroud, that's for the banner program, the street banner program.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Stroud, if I could add to that, we were really pleased to change the way those banners were done last year to have the banners that were displayed in the rural communities be created by people from those communities.
Thank you, Sharon. They really like the banners in Anzac with the high school graduates.
I know, they're great, aren't they?
Thank you, ladies. Do we have any delegates to this item?
No confirming for the record. We have no delegates. Thanks.
Thank you. Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Ball? Nope. Councilor Benjoko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the administration work to implement the 2022 Public Art Work Plan and report annual progress to council, and that 533,000 be drawn from the Public Art Reserve Fund to support the 2022 Public Art Work Plan.
Thank you, Councilor Joko. Can I have someone second the motion? Councilor Ball?
I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from council? Not seeing any. Call for a vote. All in favor? Councilor McGrath, his hand's up. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. So thank you everyone for participating in today's council meeting. And thank you everyone who came out today and met with us about our community engagement tour. And it was councilor's pleasure of myself and everyone to meet everyone, talk about the issues out here. So thank you again. Marcy Cho, Kinmas Compton, and thank you. This closes the business for today's meeting.